Welcome to the Vector Garden. In this video, we're going to take a look at two methods on how to design this kind of line. And of course, we want this to be adjustable. So we want to be able to apply this to more strokes. So by just taking the eyedropper tool and set this up like this, and then we're going to select that and just click here, and then we can apply that over and over again, and we can design these lines just as we want. So let's get started with that, and I'm just going to draw the line like this. And we're going to start with the bottommost line. So these are just stacked lines. And of course, we need the appearance panel for that. And we can actually keep this stroke. And let's just make a new one. And then let's take the bottom one of those. And let's go in here and set this to 40. And I just want 50. Like this. And then let's apply this in orange, and of course it shouldn't be dashed, like so. Okay, so that's the first one, and then we already have a second one which is already dashed and it's in front. I'm going to make this thicker, like this, and let's take a look at the dashes. You might not know how to create them. So what we need first in here is the rounded cap, and then we need the dashed line. And the dashed line is set up in a specific way. So you need to set the dash to 0 point, and then you need to set up a gap which is larger than the weight. And let's make that slightly larger, like this. And for the end points to be like regular, we go in here again and set this to that setting. It's even more important on the other ones we are going to create. Now we need to create the additional ones. And for those, again, I'm going to take this and duplicate it, and then make this a little thinner, and then you still don't see it. So what's happening? How do we get the parallel lines into that? We're going to use an effect. So let's go to Effect, Path, Offset Path. And Offset Path is very special when it gets applied to an open path, such as this one. So then it makes that path into a shape. And it can do so not only with straight lines, but as you see here, with curved lines as well, which makes it a perfect fit for this purpose. Let's just turn this to round so that we get nicer endings here. And then let's make some more offset like this. And let's go into the stroke settings, because I want to adjust the gap. It should be slightly smaller because the dots are just smaller, like this. And this is okay as well. And then you see we just need another copy. We need this thinner, and then let's go into Offset Path and offset this a little more. And let's go to OK, and then let's get into the stroke again and adjust the gap. And then we have it like this. So this is how we can create this. Now maybe you don't want to have the end like this here. You want to have it cut off. So what can you then do? In that case, we of course cannot use that offset path, because it would always create some chaotic dots in there. We need to do it differently. So in order to get that, I'm going to start with the dotted line again, and we know that we want to have it at 11 points. And then of course we need to adjust the gap, which doesn't really matter here, but we need to have that line. And then we need to make special lines. So I'm going to create 2 of them, and we want to have the next one 7 point, we know that, but we cannot apply the dashes right here. So we first need to create that, and we need to adjust the distance between them, and then make a duplicate like this, and adjust the distance as well, like so. So that's the distance we want. And then again, make a copy for the thinner one, and that needs to be 5 point, like this. And again, make the copy, adjust that as well. You can be as precise as you want, so you can really adjust that even more, and you know, the little unevenness in this, I don't care about that, but of course you can adjust that. If you want to adjust that better, you can group the 2 that belong together like this, and then you take these as well and group them, and then select all of that, and then you can use this alignment, and then they get centered like this. So that's what you can do. And then we need to make a brush out of them. So take it, these 2, and then let's go into the brushes panel and just drag them in here and make an art brush like this. So this is the outer. And of course I forgot something, so let's get in here again and let's set this to tints so that we can later on define the color. And let's drag this in here, a new art brush again, like this. And this is inner. Set this to tints, and OK. So we don't need these. And then we can take this one, and I'm going to just draw a line like so, and then we can build it. So again, we take the appearance panel, get a new stroke, and that one gets the bottom one again. So let's set it to 40 and like this, make it orange, and turn off the dashed line and drag it to the bottom. And then we need another one, so let's add one, and let's set this to 1 point. 1 point does not scale the brush, which is important. So now we need to apply the brush. Let's start with the inner one, like so. It doesn't get scaled, and we can get into the stroke, and you see we can apply a dashed line to an art brush, and then we can adjust this. We can set this like this and adjust the distance. And the nice thing about this is the dots do not get distorted, which would be the case if you put these dots into a pattern brush. But we first make those 2 lines and then apply dots to them. So let's go into the orange one, and we're going to turn off that rounded one. Of course, you could set it like this, but let's just turn that off, like so. And then let's make another copy and select the outer one here. And again, go into the strokes and adjust their distance again, like so. So you see, there are two ways to build them, and then you have a choice of how you want these to look like, and that's how you can build this design.